You've probably heard words like retainer, lead, or proposal thrown around. But if you're new to the VA world, it can feel like everyone's speaking another language. And today, I'm cutting through the jargon with you, and I'm going to break down the terms that you absolutely need to know as a virtual assistant. Hey, I'm Salva, and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited to be diving into this topic with you, so let's get right into it. And by the end of this video, you'll know the essential virtual assistant terms clients use or expect you to understand, so you can show up confident, professional, and actually clear on when to use them yourself. And if you want a shortcut on finding your most profitable virtual assistant skill, I've got my free money-making skills quiz linked below, and in 3 minutes, it will let you know exactly what profitable skill that you have that you can start building a business around today. First, here are the absolute must-know terms for every virtual assistant. I'll give you the meaning and a quick example of each. Retainer. This is when a client pays you upfront to reserve a set amount of hours or task each month. I work with most of my clients at a 25-hour monthly retainer. That way, my income is consistent because I know exactly how much I'm getting paid upfront. And on my end, I am saying yes to my client that I will fulfill at least 25 hours of work. Lead. A potential client, someone interested in your skill or your services, but hasn't actually committed to working with you officially. That could look like being in conversation with someone who is interested in a project that they would like to bring you on for, but you haven't gone forward into securing a contract or even getting your first payment to begin this project. Proposal. An outlined offer for a potential client, explaining what you'll do, how you'll do it, and how much it will cost them to invest. For example, after you take a discovery call with a client, a call that's typically about 30 minutes to an hour, asking this potential client questions to understand if you all are going to be a great fit to work together and understand their needs. Typically, after your discovery call, you are following up with this lead with a detailed proposal with next steps and pricing so that they can make the decision to work with you. Invoices. Typically, it's an electronic bill that you send to a client so that they can pay you for your service. For example, I send invoices to my clients at the top of the month so that clients know what to anticipate even if they're paying me at the end of the month. For example, I have a 60-minute strategy session that anyone can book with me at any time for us to focus on one area in their business that they want to fix. Before getting on the strategy call with my client, I would typically send a $300 invoice so that they can pay and confirm that they will be investing in the strategy session so that then we can get it scheduled. Onboarding. The process of welcoming a new client, gathering their information, getting access to any of their tools and systems, and setting expectations from the beginning. For example, my own onboarding process with my clients includes a 60-minute onboarding call for us to get access to all the information, all of their systems, and also set up a 90-day action plan so that we can decide what is the most important thing that we need to be focusing on over the first 90 days. It also includes an onboarding email that tells them exactly how to give us access to their systems and their tools that I would be needing when I start working with them. The onboarding email also breaks down exactly what they can expect us to go over in the onboarding call as well. Scope of work, the list of tasks, deliverables, or responsibilities you've agreed to. For example, if you are supporting a client with social media management, more than likely within your scope of work would include maybe creating the content, also writing the caption, and getting that content scheduled. What may not be in your scope of work is updating the website with these new social media graphics that you've created. CRM, Customer Relationship Management, a system or a tool that you use to track leads, clients, and communication all in one place. Everything client related lives inside of my CRM. I have my contracts, I have my invoices, I have questionnaires, I have intake forms. So I never drop the ball and I always have client information all in one place. Discovery or clarity call. Typically a free initial call with a potential client or lead to see if you're a good fit to work with them. I always start with an onboarding call before working with a client, before sending a contract, before getting paid, just because I like to vet my clients. I like to be able to get on a call, hear what is going on within a business, hear how I'm able to support, and just confirm that we are a good fit with working together. We'll go over things like, what's the thing that's making your business feel hard right now? Where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 6 months? All those things are important and much easier to grab over a 30 to 60-minute call. It could even be shorter than that versus going back and forth via email. Contract. You've all heard what a contract is, and yes, even as a virtual assistant, you absolutely need a contract and should be sending contracts to your clients. There are some cases where you don't typically need to send a contract to a client if you are being onboarded as an independent contractor into an established business. For example, like an agency, they typically would have a process to onboard you. You may not need to send your own contract to that business, but it's always important that you have an independent contract. And I will give you my exact independent contract in the description below for free so that you can use it in your business as well. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a board attorney, but this is a template that I have used that was drafted by a lawyer and attorney. And if you make any edits to it and you are agreeing that you are doing that on your own. I don't typically start work with any clients until a contract is signed, whether they are sending me a contract or I am sending them a contract. It just makes it more easier for us to agree on the scope of work, the payment, the communication, and all the access that I would be getting to working with them and them working with me. It just allows you to protect the client relationship by having these things in writing. And last but not least, workflows. The step-by-step process that you follow to get tasks done efficiently. For example, having a seamless onboarding workflow could look like when someone fills out a lead form or an intake form to work with you, as soon as they submit that form, they get an automated email that lets them know that you're reviewing their form. And as you're reviewing their form to see if they're a good fit working with you, it's now time for you to send them an email inviting them to get on a discovery call with you. Those steps, from the intake form to the automated email to you reviewing to then sending them an email to invite them to a call, that is a workflow. And so of course there are a ton more words that you could learn and will learn and may run across in your virtual assistant journey, but I want you to know that these particular terms you absolutely need to know, and they would be the most heard around you on your day-to-day. And just to recap, the absolute must-know terms for every virtual assistant: retainer, lead, proposal and invoice, onboarding, scope of work, CRM, discovery call or clarity call, contract, and workflow. And if you run into a word that you may not understand or you may have never heard of, there's no shame at all. Just ask. Ask your client to clarify, what does that mean? I've never heard of that. Because you're not expected to know everything. But knowing these basic ones means you'll stand out as a real professional, even if you're just starting out. So I want you to let me know in the comments, what's one term that you've heard in your virtual assistant journey where you were like, I don't know what that actually means. Drop it in the comments and let's break it down together. My very first client as a virtual assistant kept mentioning onboarding, onboarding, onboarding. And I just nodded along until I realized what onboarding actually was. It was just a checklist so that she never had to memorize the steps to doing the same thing successfully. And now in my own agency, just years later, I have my own custom team onboarding process, my own custom client onboarding process, which is a checklist systemized in our project management system, ClickUp, that outlines everything that we need to do to properly onboard a new client into my agency. And that's it. I hope I broke down these words in the most simplest form so that you absolutely knew what these must-know terms as a virtual assistant were. If you have any words that you are unsure of, definitely drop them in the comments. I would love to break them down with you, and I'll see you in the next video.